Leeds.
Morning Leeds fans, welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. It's a bloody cold one this morning, going for a bit of a walk. Mental, but we need some supplies from the shop. Do a quick little video about some stuff we learnt yesterday. Obvious one we'll touch on, but there's a few more areas that I think, were really evident yesterday. One of them is he gets a lot of stick, does Farker, for his pragmatic approach to games, being slightly defensive at times, sometimes ultra defensive, not going for it, not taking handbrake off, sometimes pulling it up a little bit higher, try to see games out, 2-0, 3-0, when evidently there's more goals to be had in that game. I think we saw yesterday, against Swansea away as well, a month or so ago, why he takes that approach. He doesn't like not having control in games. We saw yesterday it was like a basketball match, very Bielsa-esque in terms of back and forth, many chances given away to the opposition of lower quality, which Farker will have found irritating, stressful. He likes control. He likes to dictate the game, and yesterday we couldn't. The way the game went, it ebbed and flowed. There were numerous chances both ways. You could say they maybe had better at chances in that first half, especially. They could have been 2 up. So I think that's something Farker will look at, and I wouldn't be surprised to see more of a negative approach going forward. I do believe if Pascal Stroud could have been fit yesterday, we'd have seen Ampadu in midfield with maybe Rothwell coming out, and that would have given a bit more defensive steel to that side. With a normal centre-half pairing and then Ampadu being in the middle with Tanaka, I feel like that gives much more defensive structure. And we maybe wouldn't have seen the gaps in the centre of the picture, especially yesterday. But it's an interesting one going forward to see how it unfolds. We've got a few weeks now before we head into as next Yorkshire derby. But yeah, I do feel there might be a little bit of a negative touch to our play going forward now. There's next few games after the Harrogate one, just for that reason. We sort of saw it after the Swansea game, and I do feel like with Ampadu being back, it's just another reason I think why he starts in centre midfield when everyone's fit and he doesn't have to play out of position, which unfortunately he's had to do recently. So yeah, that's the first point really. Obviously, I'm going to go on to Meslier now. I think the goalkeeping position, it's daft to say isn't a problem now. There's still a few people out there saying we've got to get behind him, and yeah, nobody wants to kick someone when they're down. I said it on my stream last night, but it's now evident more than ever we need a new goalkeeper. Whether Darlow's going to come in now, which I think he should start the next couple of games and see how he does, and then make a call. Mid to Jan, towards the end of Jan. If he's not up to it either, you're going to have to go out there and do something. It's now probably become a player who makes mistakes, but you probably can get by. I've said we'll get by most of the season. Now it's become probably his most vital position now in January to sort out. Some are saying 4 points dropped by Meslier this season. I'm saying 6 or 7. Some people are saying 10. Ultimately, we might not all agree on how many points he's cost us this season, but we all agree he's cost us points, and those points would have given us a gap at the top of between 4 and 10 points, and that's a fact, whether you like him or not, whether you want him in or not. You can't argue with the facts, and the facts are he's cost us points now. The gap would be created, the gap that all fans thought would have for the general play, for Farker's tactics, for whatever you look at it, the gap would be there if it wasn't for individual as by our goalkeeper. Yeah, the rest of the team is culpable at times, but the goalkeeper's the one who's the last line of defence, needs to pull things out of the bag, and he's gifting goals like that. He leaves that ball, it goes out, he goes up over the bar for a goal kick, he tips it over, it's a corner. Instead he flicks it down and gives him the easiest goal the lad will ever score in his career. So the goalkeeping position now has to be number one. Over a 10, over a 9, over a left back, it's got to be the number one priority now. They need to look at it. It's hard to say what's going to happen. Would I be surprised if Meslier never plays for Leeds again? I wouldn't. Would I be surprised if he starts every game from now till the end of the season? I wouldn't either. It's a really tough call for Farker to make now, but for me, he's paid good money, brilliant money to be in charge at best club in the world for me. So he's got to live and die by his decisions, and for me, he's got to get this one right. It's massive. He's got to take him out of firing line. He's got to do what's right on a human basis, which is take him out and get him out of that firing line. Because at the minute the heat's on him, it's all over YouTube as it is with me, and it's all over everywhere. Social media's just riddled in Meslier stuff at the minute, and it's a shame. 3-1 up. He should have been. The talk should have been after the game. 3-1, poor performance first half. Lads come out and smashed it second half, and you pull the bones out of all the mistakes and say where we can improve. But ultimately, we get the 3 points, and because of one man yesterday, that's not the case, and that's a massive shame, and a massive red dot on his name. So the goalkeeping position now is just massive. Like, it's gone from being a concern, something I'd like him to do but don't expect him to be now the main talking point, the main thing that needs to be sorted and addressed in January. And I just hope the 49ers, who I don't think hold as much sentiment as some people do. I think Farker probably holds more sentiment for certain players than what 49ers do, and 49ers have been in the door a lot longer than Farker have. But someone's going to have to be ruthless here. Someone's going to have to make a call, and Meslier needs dropping first and foremost, and then we'll address it in a couple of weeks. Cause we won't go out and get a keeper this week, but for me, he starts Harrogate, does Darlow, and we'll see how he goes. He's good enough for this division. People have wrote him off saying he ain't good enough for Leeds. He's got errors in his game. Well, for me, he don't make that error yesterday. He don't make that error at Sunderland, and he's all hearsay. We don't know for sure. No one can ever, ever say that, I suppose. But we haven't got a choice. We've got 3 goalkeepers in door: Darlow, Cairns, and Meslier. For me now, Mellier's got to drop to the bottom of that pecking order, and he's got to try and do something in training, try and build his confidence back up. All while hopefully one of these other 2 keepers at least grabs that shirt until evidently we've signed someone else, whether it's summer or January. But that is the biggest problem right now at Leeds. And yeah, the game in general yesterday, on reflection, I feel like the lads did really well to get back into the game. Obviously, first half they were well underperforming. Second half, I think they got a bit of a rollicking from Farker. He didn't change too much in terms of tactics. He didn't bring many subs on in second half either. I just feel like he put a bit of a rocket up their arses, so to speak, and you saw them fighting for a shirt. You saw the tempo, which we always speak about on my channel, and a lot of people do. You saw the tempo there at the start of that second half. They got the early goal, and then, they were comfortable, really comfortable. I've seen people, comment on that he should have made subs earlier and stuff. If I'm honest, I didn't think we needed any subs. That goal don't go in. It's 3-1. We end that game 3-1. Probably get another one on break. It would just that sole single mistake for Meslier, for their second goal that Meslier did that gifted them the momentum, gifted them the points for me. So it's a massive shame. I do feel like, looking how we lined up yesterday, Pascal Strauch is proven to be massively important. That's something I took away from yesterday. That left side in general, I don't like how Voba's been getting stick, because I feel like he's been getting his flowers, saying he's a brilliant left back. Now all of a sudden he's not a left back. Now all of a sudden Ampadu's not a centre back. Yeah, they're playing out of position slightly, but they played games there where people have said Ampadu's a better centre half than a midfielder, Voba's a better left back than a centre half. So we just got to look at it and go, there are a lot of changes there. 2 changes to your back four's never ideal in one for a game. In an ideal situation, Strauch and Byron play and do a win that game. Potentially that first goal maybe gets sniffed out. They were too far apart. But ultimately, when your goalkeeper's giving stuff away like that, I don't feel like you can really comment on other people's performances, to be fair, because to a man, they weren't great, but they came back and they did enough to win the game. So yeah, I do feel like we learned how valuable Pascal Strauch is to this side, not even just for having Strauch in the side, but it also allows Ethan Ampadu to play in middle of the park. And away from home again, the Yorkshire Derby, that's the kind of game you want Ampadu in his natural position. For me, they're the games where you've seen when since he's come back from injury, we haven't lost away from home now. We should have won yesterday if it weren't for Mez, obviously. And yeah, in middle of the park in the Yorkshire Derby is where you need Ampadu. So Strauch being out yesterday, something I took away from it was massive. That really affected us at back. We looked shaky all game, even when even when we were doing okay in the game, they still posed a constant threat. And when you think their quality isn't there, they posed a constant threat for one reason. Pascal Strauch went out for me, and Ampadu went at centre half and not in midfield, and that just left aching gaps in our side. And unfortunately, we gifted more big chances in that game than I can remember in any game this season or last season, to be fair. It really made it an exciting game for neutrals, but as a Leeds fan, my arse were nipping. It was a very nervy affair, and obviously ultimately we didn't get the 3 points, did we? Which we should have gone and got, really, against a weakened Hull side with 6 or 7 regulars out, which is, imagine if Liam Miller's playing in that game. You know what I mean? Like, he ain't a great player, but against us we've seen what he can do, and they were missing even more than just him. So it's a shame. On reflection, still annoyed. Not a good point. Yeah, hopefully we'll see how today goes later on with the game later. But yeah, it's not a great morning, but we'll go again, don't we? And all got to stick together. Hopefully Meslier don't get too much hate. You're allowed to talk about it, you're allowed to discuss it. We're allowed to say he should be dropped. I'm hoping it don't go any further than that. Because ultimately, I don't think he leaves in January, and I think he's here and probably still does have a part to play. But for me, Darlow starts next few weeks, and we'll see how we go from there. Stay safe, stay inside, get wrapped up, don't even try roads. If I'm walking, you know it's bad. Take care, guys.